All right, so today I want to talk to you about the WASPs during World War II. The WASPs were the Women's Air Service Pilots, and they were part of a program that was designed in 1941 and 1942 to really make up for the shortage that we had in pilots. Every available man who knew how to fly a plane was essentially drafted into the military in some form or fashion, which meant back stateside we didn't have enough pilots to ferry troops from point A to point B, or supplies, or even to train new troops. There were two separate proposals put forward in 1942 that used women as a way to fill this shortage. Those proposals are sort of combined together, and we get the Women's Air Service Pilots. That program starts in 1942 in November out of Houston, Texas. When we first had the WASPs, there were about 5,000 women who applied, but we only had about 1,100 who were accepted and completed the training. These women were not really a part of our military. They were considered what we would say today contract workers. So they had to pay for their own training and their own room and board. During the course of their missions, which again were ferrying things or training in pilots, we had 38 WASPs who were killed. Most of them were killed in accidents. Because they were contract workers, the military would not pay for their bodies to be shipped home. The military would not pay for their funerals. And the military would not even allow the American flag to be draped over their coffins. The other WASP would actually pass around a hat, so to speak, to collect funds to pay for those funerals. The women were mostly ferrying people back and forth and supplies back and forth, but some of the ones who died were killed in training programs where they were training young male pilots who were going to go see combat. So the WASPs would take off with targets flying on the back of their planes. And then these young, untrained male pilots would take off after them and try to shoot the targets down. And that didn't always work out for the best. In 1944, right before the end of the war, Congress did consider making the WASPs an official part of our military, which would give them GI benefits, which would let them have housing and health care, but that was defeated pretty narrowly. One of the primary reasons that didn't go through was because male pilots lobbied against it. Male pilots felt that if these women had these rights, that their work would be less valued. So when the war was over, the WASP program was classified. And for the next 35 years, these women really couldn't even talk about what their experience during the war was. That's one reason that a lot of people don't know about this program, is because for 35 years, there's no scholarship on it, there's no research, there's no articles being written. When that 35-year period is over, though, these women themselves start campaigning for their work to be acknowledged and to receive some benefits. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter is going to sign the GI Bill Improvement Act, which gave some benefits to the WASP, not full benefits, but at least some. In 1984, they're going to get the World War II Victory Medal, and then in 2009, the Congressional Gold Medal. It's taken really until the 2000s for their work to be fully acknowledged and for them to be celebrated for what they did for our country. As of 2010, the last time there was a formal reunion, there was only about 300 of the WASPs left. They generally had reunions in the Houston area every year, but they stopped doing that after 2010. The WASPs are now being researched by historians. This is now a very active area of research. And if you're interested in the WASPs, there's a museum in Sweetwater, Texas, where you can go explore what they did for our country and you can look at all of their memorabilia.